we put this into this, and then you gotta lift up your hands. Okay. Put this into this. We put this into this.
Yes.
You didn't really yes and me in that situation.
I didn't.
You really gave me nothing to work with. You just
not.
lifted up your hands and sat there, and I was like, Hannah, come on.
Yeah. No,
You remember this part of the movie?
I do, but honestly, I couldn't in the moment. I was like, what should I say? Because I can't remember.
Okay. Well, whatever. It's
Anyways.
fine. It's fine.
Welcome. This is Research Rank Repeat. This is co-host Hannah.
This is co-host Alyssa. And we have returned with a new Pixar movie ranking reaction. Or, goddammit, not a reaction. A ranking update. I don't know what we call it. I don't know what we're calling our Pixar update. Our Pixar movie update. There's a new Pixar movie. It's the, correct me if I'm wrong, Hannah, but this year is the, no, it's not the 30th anniversary. That was last year. My bad.
No, I think it's the 31st year.
31st, yeah. But it's the 30th Pixar movie.
Yes. So something is 30.
Something is 30. I knew something was 30, and then I did the math, and I was like, Toy Story was 95, so there's no way. I'm not 30. Yeah. I'm not 30 anymore.
Yeah, and it's also fittingly the day before Easter when we record this, and it's
true.
The movie Hoppers.
Hoppers.
So, Easter.
If you've not seen the movie, unlike your mind thinking it's about rabbits, I would say that's the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah, no, I meant more like the hopping, like the hopper, like the bunny hop. Yes. Hop.
Hip hop.
Yeah. Hip hop. Hop.
Do you know that people in Australia, after they sing Happy Birthday, say hip hip hooray?
Oh.
I learned that
That's
yesterday.
cool.
Yeah, I was watching a couple shorts, when you get sucked in for about 15 minutes and you're like, what the fuck am I watching? There's like some Australian podcasters, I think, or...
Is it the ones who do Guess the Spot?
I don't know. It's like a woman with glasses and like a man. They're not a couple. I think they're like friends.
Oh, the ones who do they watch the like compilations.
I think so.
Tony not
I've
Tony.
only seen a few shorts here, and I've never actually watched the show. It's just popped up in, short run, just scrolling mindlessly, But they were like, yeah, they don't do that in the United States. And she was like, then it's just a stupid song. And I was like, you're not wrong. I was like, yeah.
I can't argue with that, to be honest. Yeah.
But anyway, back to our film. Yeah, so we're covering Hoppers today. Hannah and I went to the movies last weekend and saw it together. It was relatively... I feel like there was a couple people there, but we also went at like 1 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah, and it was 2 weeks after the movie came out.
So, and also it was like, it's like a weird time frame to be going. So, I'm not like shocked that was the turnout.
I think there were more people there than I thought there would be, though.
Yeah, I think it was like, there was enough people that like, there were people in our line of sight, and around us, and a small child who kicked me in the back a few times, which I was really thrilled with.
Yeah.
And then also, can we just address this now? The amount of people who just left all of their trash all over because some of the, it's a place that serves food, like, you can get food to order and they'll bring it to you. And the amount of people, when Hannah and I went to leave, because we stayed throughout the credits, because we just like to read who's in it and stuff like that, and the voice actors credits came pretty late in the run, which I was like, that's fine. I appreciate them letting people get their flowers who worked on a film. But when we were leaving, we were like, oh my god, like all of these seats just had all of their like boxes and all their food waste,
not just like a napkin or popcorn on the floor. Like they just left all their stuff,
just left everything. And I was like, what are we doing here? Like, I get if you drop some piece of popcorn, like, people clean the theaters, that's part of their job is to, sweep up and make sure everything's presentable. That's fine. But if you're just leaving your full drink, a full bag of popcorn, full buckets, full pretzel bites, like,
Yes.
Clean up after yourselves.
This is a PSA to clean up after yourself.
Clean up your shit, figuratively and literally in Hannah's case.
Yes. Literally clean it up.
Yeah.
Hi. Speaking of hoppers and animals, we have a little special guest.
Oh, look at that. Is that Cash? Yeah, I knew it.
Yes.
A little gremlin.
So if you hear noises, that would be my cats who decided to beat the shit out of each other at 10 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yep. It's truly the Lord's work before Easter.
No better time to have Fight Club.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it was a nice experience. We usually meet up and then go to like lunch / dinner, depending on what time.
Yep.
And we went again to our favorite spot in East Lansing, Korea House.
Yep.
Got some good food.
Yes.
We got some
boba.
Yeah, we got some boba post food. It was good. It was a good time.
It was a good snack on the way home.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I am.
Oh.
So, I love. There's like that video of the guy when he doesn't realize there's like the tapioca balls, and he like chokes it all. It's like spits all up. I didn't do that because I've drinking a lot of boba in my life, but I was trying to get that little you're at the little tiny bits, like there's a little bit of ice, a little bit of balls left, and I sucked in a piece of ice so hard it hit the back of my throat. I just went in my car driving on that way, and I was like
I guess at least it was ice, so like it would melt.
But... It was ice, but I like coughed it up, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, I pulled all the
because you got to get those last little ones that are nestled in the ice.
Little bits of flavor, it's good stuff. Anyway, I forgot to tell you about that. That made me laugh, and then I laughed immediately after. I was like, this is fine. Yeah, so I'm curious because I did not watch any trailers. I honestly didn't know anything about the film other than it involved, the only thing I saw was like an image of a beaver, and that's it. So in my mind I was like, this is like maybe an over the hedge situation, or like a Pompoko, like animals, like a fun animal romp film, and that's all I knew. I didn't watch a trailer, I didn't see anything. So going in, I went in like super blind. Usually I know a little bit. Sometimes we'll watch a trailer beforehand. Like obviously we have now seen the Toy Story 5 trailer because it played before the movie.
In theaters. Yep.
But I don't remember seeing any Hoppers trailers in any of the movies we saw in the past year or so.
Yeah, because I've been to the movies quite a few times in the past year. Yeah. And I didn't see that trailer.
But I do feel like it was marketed more than Elio was. Like, I saw just generally more.
I have a lot of notes on the marketing, and when I was writing all the notes, I was like, oh, I'm surprised I hadn't, because I'm the same. I don't think I saw a trailer. I did know, or maybe, I don't know that I saw something, because I did know the premise about it being, technology-based.
Okay, see, I didn't even know that, yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, I think it was when I was watching, something, I can't remember if it was... Sometimes I'll find streams of legal streams for sports events, you know?
Of course, yes.
And I'll just put them on in the background and they'll play the normal commercial ads that would be on TV. So I think I might have saw a little snippet. I definitely didn't watch a whole trailer, but I did know it was the premise was kind of a technology based animal film. I didn't know the other aspects.
Okay.
But yeah, so I didn't know a ton. I would say I went in pretty blind as well.
Great.
But yeah.
If you want
to
go
into some
background.
Yeah, I'm going to start with some Elio. We usually like to do a little update because a lot of times when we record the Pixar, it's pretty recently
fresh.
After they've come out. So as of now, I guess.
Yeah.
Elio has grossed $73 million in the United States and Canada. 81 million in other territories, so worldwide total of 154 million.
Yeah, and that's on, I don't know if you got, their budget was estimated to be between 150 to 200 million, so they basically made no money. They probably lost money.
Yeah, it was considered a box office, non-success, basically.
Yeah. I'm not shocked.
Right, in terms of, not making back the money that... Or, I guess making back the money, but, basically just making back the money they spent.
And that's not even, usually that figure doesn't even include marketing and, any additional...
That's just, the production
That's just the production cost, yeah.
So, right now, it has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 66 out of 100 on Metacritic. It does... And I don't think the grade has changed, but it had an A on Cinema Score. And then, let me see.
I will say, because I have the stats from when we did the LEO initially. So the Rotten Tomatoes score went up 1%. It went from 82 to 83. Metacritic exactly the same, still 66.
Okay.
I had the IMDb score. I don't know if you have that.
I did not get that. Okay. No, I didn't see that.
So that one did go down. It was 7 initially, and it dropped to 6.6.
Okay.
And then Letterboxd started at a 3.5 and is now a 3.3.
Okay. So
what I did learn is there are just because I was looking at Letterboxd this morning, just because I was curious what other films looked like, a lot of Pixar films are at a 3.3. Like, that seems like a very
they're kind of in that range.
Broad. Like, there's obviously ones that are higher, but it seemed like a very broad amount of Pixar films were 3.3. So, just to give that context.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the numbers. I do have some information on the home media / like streaming, just because that was not available when we did the initial talk about it.
Right.
So it was released on for digital purchase on August 19th of 2025. And then it was released on Disney Plus on September 17th. In the United States, it ranked number 9 on the combined DVD and Blu-ray sales chart for September. So number 9 just for the month of September, which is,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Top 10, I guess. When it was released on Disney Plus, so there's a analytic company, Samba TV. Mm-hmm. They gather viewership data stuff from streaming services. They reported that the film attracted 368% more U.S. households on Disney Plus in the first 5 days compared to other films at that time. Mm-hmm. It also was featured in the top 10 list on Disney Plus. It was, when it came out, the most streamed title on the platform at the time. Of the other things that were on at the time. So it was number 1. It also debuted at number 1 in the United Kingdom as well as the U.S. The U.S., the Nielsen, Nielsen...
Ratings.
Yes, sorry, I couldn't think of the name. No, it's what's that word? They announced that it was, LEO was streamed for 550 million minutes from September 15th through the 21st, ranking as the 3rd most streamed film of that week. Mm-hmm. So overall, in terms of streaming, it did pretty well.
That seems about
which
right,
makes
though.
sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Especially with the price of, movies and, a whole family going to the theater, I can see a lot of people being we'll just wait till it comes out on streaming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that makes sense, and that kind of, tracks with the other Pixar movies and kind of, what the trends we see, I guess.
Right.
When the movies come out onto Disney Plus for streaming purposes. I think Alyssa has a little bit more information on awards. So she can go ahead and do that really quick.
Yeah, the only thing of note is that it was nominated for a few awards. Notably, though, I thought it was interesting. It was nominated for Academy Award for Best Picture or Best Animated Picture. It did not win, as K-Pop Demon Hunters won, which, not surprising. That film was just smash hit.
Very good film too.
Yeah.
I would
also
say.
Was very entertaining film.
I think it was definitely a deserved
It to
win.
me felt a lot like when Into the Spider-Verse came out. Very distinct in tone, style, very popular. I understand why it won. Yeah. I'm not upset about that.
Right.
I think that was a correct choice over an LEO in my opinion.
I would agree. Having seen both films, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
But notably, what I thought was interesting, unless I didn't read all the way through, I didn't see it nominated for a Golden Globe. Usually when the animated films are nominated, they often are the same, for the most part, for the Golden Globes and Academy Awards. Sometimes Golden Globes are less international. Oftentimes, obviously, Boy and the Heron won, I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or last year. I don't remember when the frame of
the cycle would have been, yeah.
Right, but so sometimes international films do get nominated, win Golden Globes, but Academy Awards tend to be more international than Golden Globes do. So I thought that was interesting. And the only award, and it got, Annie Awards are animated film specific awards. It was nominated, didn't win anything. It won one award, and I'm not super familiar with the Satellite Awards, but it won the Satellite Award for Best Animated Film. Okay. The category had some different name, but I didn't write down the specific, like, category name, but essentially it won one award. It was nominated for several, won one. And then the last thing I have, because I saw this like a month ago, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I got a direct quote because it was in a Wikipedia article. So, if you remember, Hannah, we talked kind of to an extent about some of the controversies surrounding the production of Elio and the removal of certain themes, specifically talking about LGBTQ plus themes that were removed from the initial film. And the film, I think we talked about it, how it felt very disjointed, and I think it suffered from having elements kind of like stripped apart and like put back together in a different way.
Just like meshed, yeah.
But anyway, so I guess I don't really know. I'm gonna just say this. I don't know the exact context. I don't know if this was an interview or if this was just a quote taken from Pixar. But Pete Docter, who is an executive, a head of Pixar, he is probably most known for being the director of Inside Out. I believe Soul, Up. Perhaps he might have done Finding Nemo. Maybe I'm not sure about that one, but I know for sure he's the director of Inside Out, Soul, and Up. This man said, quote, in response to people asking about the scenes being removed from Elio, quote, "We're making a movie, not hundreds of millions of dollars in therapy," end quote. Says the man who directed Inside Out, a movie where they consulted child psychologists about the mindset of children. Soul, a very like psychological, mental journey. Up. He's like, I'm like, what a fucking hypocrite, man. Like, what are you talking about?
In terms of Pixar as a whole, he's directed some of the most like
internal, thoughtful,
the ones that maybe hit the most like mental health, like or mental like aspects of life. But then he's gonna that's a rough take. That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
So again, I'm not sure of the exact context, but this is a direct quote listed. Like it is said to be a direct quote from him.
Okay.
And I really just wanted to be like,
I would be curious.
Are we okay?
I would be curious to like read more into that to see like what because sometimes I know there's a thing of media where they like pull quotes that like maybe aren't representative of what the person was trying to say.
But I
guess I would be curious to like go more into that.
I know I did see, because I saw this quote earlier, like about a month ago, and I read that and I was like, what is that? And so then let's see, is this a Variety article? Variety is a pretty,
they're...
Let's see. Let me see where... recently told the Wall Street Journal.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a Variety article. So this is a legitimate source talking about a Wall Street Journal article. So it's a credible site talking about another credible site, I guess is the way we'll phrase that. Doctor told the WSJ that Pixar didn't want to expose its young audience to things they weren't ready to see or hadn't discussed with their parents. He said, quote, "We're making a movie, not hundreds of millions of dollars in therapy." So, yeah, it seems even worse.
It's interesting for him to say that, like, exposing kids to things they're not ready to, like, discuss when, like, Inside Out very much hits on like anxiety, depression, like things that kids, adults, everyone goes through. It's interesting for him to like say that when like he's also made movies that
have tackled topics that are difficult, things like death, in terms of Up, or like absent family figures, or feeling unwell.
I'm like, now does this mean that he's like maybe just homophobic?
I was gonna say, is this man just homophobic, or I'm like, is he now owned by Disney?
And
like,
he has to.
Have we gotten to the point where he now is the corporate like, is he the corporate man now? Because he's a high up at Pixar, and Pixar is fully owned by Disney, and we know Disney's never been really like, they'll follow a trend and they'll they'll shift and flip at an instant, seemingly, based on what we've seen. They can be an ally in one second and not in another.
And I would say Disney's never fully in the ways that other maybe studios or other places have. Like, Disney's never really fully committed to, like, the support of, like, or, like, representation of LGBTQ plus, like, characters, like, themes, stuff like that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, yeah. Yeah, that's something.
They love that money. They'll follow the money wherever it goes.
All right. Well,
anyway, so I just wanted to update that because I saw that now that I have more context, I'm like, this is actually even worse.
It actually made it worse.
It made it worse. Now that we know the full context, I actually I'm more like, what are we doing here? But anyway, moving on from Elio, because that's always just upsetting. Everything about that movie, it's a fine movie. It could have been better. And I don't know necessarily if the original film would have been better. We won't know. Obviously, we will not know. We'll never know. But what we got was not. It was not it for me personally.
Okay, yeah. Let's move into Hoppers, which, in my opinion, is a bit more. What am I trying to say?
Refreshing.
It's more refreshing.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah,
a breath of fresh air, if you will.
Yes, nature. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so Hoppers. I do realize saying that now that it's like all about the environment, but also like no more fresh air out there to breathe. But
we're all gonna die.
Yeah, it's fine.
The earth is ending. It's fine.
Death is near. Okay, so Hoppers was released on March 6th, 2026. It's directed by Daniel Chon and written by Jesse Andrews, who is notably the writer for Luca.
Okay.
Film that came out a while back.
Yeah.
Daniel Chon was at Pixar, worked on multiple different films, and then left to go to Cartoon Network.
Okay.
And he is most notably known at Cartoon Network for doing the television series We Bare Bears, which I have heard about before.
I feel like I've heard the name, but obviously, as we are adults, there's a certain threshold where I've seen Cartoon Network up to a point, and then I've not watched.
Yeah. Yep. So that show ran from 2015 to 2019, and then he also released a movie after in 2020 of the same TV show. And it said he had returned to Pixar. So I don't know if he was just like there for he knew he was going to come back. Yeah. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
So anyways, but he began developing this film at Pixar in December 2020 when he returned to the studio. And development on this film lasted 6 years. Mm-hmm. The film overall has received positive reviews from critics and has grossed $303 million worldwide, which is like pretty much double what Elio has it. And this is in 2 weeks.
This is basically. Like almost week 3. Yeah,
right. Becoming the third highest grossing film of 2026.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
I know we're only into April, but I feel like that's surprising to hear that it's not. And I don't know. I'm wondering. I have a couple thoughts. One. We got real fucked. Everything's fucked right now. Money-wise, like inflation-wise, tariffs, gas, across the board. I think people are conserving money, maybe preparing for potentially like a recession. And often what gets cut is like luxury. I mean, movie theaters is not necessarily a luxury, but it's expensive. It can be. But
it's a non-necessity purchase.
Yes. Like if you had to cut things that honestly would probably be something that people would cut back on, especially families, in that sense.
So the two higher grossing films, Pegasus 3, which is a Chinese sports comedy film.
Okay.
And it's a series, so it's like the third movie of that series.
That's the highest grossing animated film is a Chinese film from I think like 2 years ago or maybe last year we talked about it. So that doesn't surprise me to hear that.
Well, this one's not an animated film. This is just
China produced film in general is mainly what I'm saying. Yes.
So that's the highest grossing film. The second highest grossing film, which is not that surprising, is Project Hail Mary.
Yeah.
With Ryan Gosling that just came out around the same time. I know it's been doing really well.
That one also got like a ton of marketing, which not surprising.
And it's based off a book, so like those kind of tend to have a built-in audience already.
Yeah.
At the D23 fan event in 2024, Pixar's chief creative officer, Pete Docter, announced that the film would be titled Hoppers. Mm-hmm. Then shortly after that is when Jesse Andrews, who's the writer, revealed on his Twitter account that he had been working on the film for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And then so an interview at the same event, Chon said that one of his inspirations for the films were the nature documentaries, in which robot animals are placed in the animal world.
Yeah. You know, I have some thoughts on that. We'll get to when we talk about the film.
Yeah. And he says, quote, "It felt like it was ripe for comedy. The idea of how humans try so hard to fit into the animal world and the weird things that happen through that." He also stated, like, influences that he kind of drew on, which he talks about Avatar influences.
Yeah.
But he also kind of mentions, like, Mission Impossible with this character of Mabel who's, like, infiltrating the animal world. He initially pitched the film with penguin protagonists.
Oh, Madagascar, yeah.
However, Doctor disapproved, arguing that penguins had been protagonists in several other animated films.
Yeah.
Chon ended up changing the protagonist to beavers. He kind of did some research in how, like, they affect the environment and how they're kind of seen as, like, the ecosystem engineers in some ways, and help other species survive.
That's very true, yeah. I will say, as someone with a science background, most things seemed pretty accurate in a general sense.
Yes.
Yeah, which I appreciate.
It did seem like they had, like, actually done research into, like, animal behavior. Like the whole ecosystem. Yeah. Okay, so in December 2024, The Hollywood Reporter had stated that according to a former Pixar artist, the filmmakers were told to downplay the film's like, planned messages of environmentalism. But in 2025, Chon had denied that and said that there was little censorship that was done, and said that he felt like there was a lot of alignment between him and the studio in terms of, like, the message that he wanted to portray.
Because there's no LGBT themes. They're like, we'll give you whatever you want.
Right. As long as there's no gays, we'll give you what you want.
Yeah. We only support the girls, not the gays.
Yes. But I have thoughts on Mabel.
Yeah, I do as well.
Thoughts on Mabel. But, and then he kind of mentioned, he said the thing about, like, with every movie, there's so many, like, iterations of changes that happen, and said it's like that with every studio, which I agree with. I feel like a lot of movies go through a lot of different, like, edits and,
iterations,
And a lot of movies you hear, like, the actors or actresses or even, like, the person who made the film will be like, this turned out so much different than what it originally was, just through the whole process. So in August 2025, it was announced that Mark Mothersbaugh would compose the film's score, which was his first composition for a Pixar feature film.
I was going to say, that's not a name I recognize, but also a wonderful name.
I know.
I love that name.
Mothersbaugh.
Yeah, Mothersbaugh.
He did compose the Toy Story tune short Hawaiian Vacation in 2011.
Okay.
And several Cars tune short. So he's done work with them. This was his first feature film, though.
Okay, cool.
The film features an original end credit song written and performed by SZA.
I did call that.
Save the Day. Alyssa did call that out.
I was like, do you think this is SZA? And you were like, maybe. Yeah. And I was like...
And then immediately it was like, SZA.
And I was like, I called it. Yep, I knew it. I recognize that voice anywhere.
So, they released a short teaser trailer featuring a small green gecko reportedly reportedly typing the lizard emoji into the phone.
Is that where that lizard comes from?
Yes.
You know what, I was thinking about it, and I was like, because I've seen that before, which is like lizard, 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 lizard. But
it kind of blew up online.
Yeah, but I genuinely didn't even know it was for this film. Yeah. Which
makes sense now that I've seen the movie, because there's a scene where they're, like, typing on their phone.
Yes, they're typing on their phone, yes.
So, apparently, and maybe, I don't know, but it said it played in theaters after the end credits of Elio.
We must not have stayed for the end.
I don't remember seeing that, but I'm like, maybe did we see it?
No, because maybe we left before the end, like, the credits were fully done.
Like the full end credits.
I would have remembered seeing that in theaters.
I agree.
Because I feel like I only saw it in, like, people making memes of it. Is the only time I ever saw it, I feel like, in general. Because I never actually watched the original. I mean, clearly I didn't watch the original video because I didn't even know it was for Hoppers.
Right.
In context, was just like, oh, this is funny.
Yeah. So in August 2025, Pixar revealed that the lizard's name is Tom, and that he would appear in the film.
Yes.
The character of Tom Lizard quickly went viral.
Yes.
Was the focus of several internet memes.
Yeah, that's where I saw it.
Yep, which reportedly earned up to 316 million views. Mm-hmm. They kind of used this character as a mascot for the film. He appeared in special screenings, promotional events, televised appearances. Apparently he photobombed ESPN's coverage of the Super Bowl.
I don't remember that.
So Yogurtland, which is a frozen yogurt chain.
Okay.
Chain in America,
like a Menchie's or an Orange Leaf, or a TCBY, which I don't know how popular TCBY is anymore, but that was our original frozen yogurt place.
Yeah, but they promoted the film with a limited edition sugar-free frozen yogurt flavor that was called Mabel's Nutty Adventure.
Sugar-free?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Fuck off. You're making frozen yogurt. Give us the full scoop.
Right. You're already having frozen yogurt.
Come on.
Just give us the sugar.
Again, you're marketing a kid's movie. Like, why are we... Like,
yeah.
If you're already... Like, here's my hot take. If you're already fucking eating ice cream or frozen yogurt, does it need to be sugar-free? It's already a treat. Like...
Yep.
Just have the sugar.
Yeah.
You know? Just have the fucking sugar. It's fine. We literally ate sticks of sugar, Hannah. We had like 6 foot, like a 2 foot pixie, like a tube of sugar you'd fill up yourself, and we just be pounding that shit on vacation. We turned out fine.
We're fine.
We're fine.
We're fine. I cannot believe.
Meanwhile, I'm on my second. I had I made coffee this morning, and then I had a double espresso. I'm on my second group of coffee.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're fine.
Okay, so in the month of the release of this film, so there's a free-to-play kart racing game, I guess, named Disney Speedstorm.
Okay.
And they introduced Mabel as a racer.
Oh, okay. Smart. Yeah.
They also Fortnite did a cosmetic bundle so they can do different skins for the characters, like outfits and stuff. They did one including Tom Lizard.
Okay.
So they really were hitting the audience of, like, the kids and the teens. And
they really... So, here's what I think is interesting. In, like, a contextual looking at Pixar's... Let's just say 2020 to now. Like, their 2020 films. I feel like, in my memory, the films that got the most marketing were films that were sequels of films that already existed. For the most part. The only one I can really think of that also got marketing was Turning Red, but it also didn't release in theaters. It was a Disney Plus exclusive. But I feel like I saw marketing for Turning Red.
Yes.
Because I don't really remember seeing a lot of marketing for Soul. Obviously, Elio. Luca, I don't remember a lot of marketing for either. Luca, really. I don't... Like, Lightyear is Disney... Is Toy Story
I remember
adjacent.
the trailer for Lightyear, like, blew up. Like, I remember seeing that.
But again, that's Buzz Lightyear. Like, it's related to Toy Story.
A follow-up,
It's a side story from Toy Story. Onward, I don't remember. So, it's interesting to me that they did give marketing seemingly quite a lot to this, like, new original film. Part of it wonders if it's because that lizard meme blew up and they're like, we got to capitalize on this marketing.
When they got, the opportunity.
But obviously, because it seems like they really pushed this lizard who, in all due respect, is really not that important to the story.
He's very
there.
minimal.
And I honestly, in my mind, I wouldn't see that as, like, the mascot of that movie.
Right.
Not being aware that that was pushed as the mascot of the film.
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. And obviously, it seems to have worked.
It reminds me of Ice Age using
Scrat,
which is he's a very, like, especially in the early films, he's a very minor character.
It does,
it's kind of that.
Yeah,
and I wonder too if their recent movies maybe not getting as much money. I wonder if they're like, we just gotta fully, like, market this one.
I mean, Inside Out 2 made, like, over $1 billion.
It did, but, like, I think about, like, I think about the original movies that came out, and I think about, like we just talked about Elio. And
right,
kind of
well, that one is, like, their biggest flop ever.
Right, so I'm wondering if they kind of were like, we just need to, like, market the shit out of this movie.
Or they felt really good about the film that they figured it would do well.
I
don't know.
They felt comfortable putting the money in,
at least with
it back.
Elio, I feel like a lot of the lack of marketing is because they didn't have confidence in the movie.
Well, and and they talked about before, like, how it was changed and all this stuff, and so
got quite a large amount of marketing, it seems like.
Yeah. So the city of Beaverton, Oregon, declared March 5th Hoppers Day in honor of the film's release.
Cute.
So as of April 2nd... Oh, yeah, April... I was like, wait, didn't the movie come out? April 2nd, 2026, Hoppers has grossed $144 million in the United States and Canada and $159 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $303 million.
Yeah. Great.
The film was projected to reverse Pixar's low opening streak for its originals.
Yeah.
Overtaking the lukewarm openings of Elemental.
Yeah.
Which they did mention that Elemental became a sleeper hit.
It did. It had legs. It had legs later on. I remember that coming up. Yeah.
And Elio, which became a box office failure.
Right.
Hoppers became the highest opening for original Pixar film since Coco in 2017.
That's crazy.
I know.
I mean, one, it shows how many sequels they've made.
Right.
It's a lot. But secondly, it is pretty crazy that Coco's the last one. And again, I know COVID.
We have to mention the COVID because of the theater industry
but even
during
like
that
2018, 2019,
right.
And then like maybe 22, 23, like post like COVID, like full lockdown stuff when they started putting them back in theaters.
Yep. And it also became hold on. Hey, nope, stop. I have my notes on my phone, and he's just put his paw on and moved my screen.
Of course,
so,
yeah.
And the highest opening for an original animated film in the post-pandemic era.
Okay. I'm pleased. I'm happy for this film. I'm glad original's doing well.
Right.
Yeah.
So they attributed the performance to positive word of the mouth, and the film's released during a slow market for family films, which is true because there's not a ton of like animated stuff out right now. So received positive reviews. Critics praised its animation, story, and humor. Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's 94%.
Yeah.
Great. Metacritic is a 73 out of 100. Cinema's score gave the film an A. Mm-hmm. And Letterboxd a 3.8 out of 5, which you just mentioned a lot of those films are like a 3.3.
I looked up a lot of films. So for context, I believe I think like a Ratatouille's like a 4.1. I think something like, I think I looked up Incredibles 2 and that's like 3.9 or 3.7 so, or like something around there. So it's pretty good in terms of like comparatively to a lot of Pixar
in terms
films.
of like a lot of the films similar to it.
Yeah.
A lot of critics called this film a return to form for Pixar. Mm-hmm. Nell Minow from RogerEbert.com, which is like a movie critic site.
He's a famous, I think he's passed like a long time ago.
But he was like a famous film critic.
Yeah, so that site is very like prestigious and
Yep. So Nell Minow gave the film 4 stars out of 4, saying the film is Pixar at its very best. It has charm and a touch of magic, but it is grounded, literally. Mm-hmm. It rated PG, runtime of an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I do have a...
you got our Google summary?
Summary.
Yeah.
We just pulled them off of either like Disney Plus or Google. Yeah. When Mabel learns that scientists have invented a way for human minds to hop into lifelike robotic animals and communicate with real animals, she immediately seizes the opportunity. Mabel fulfills her dream of fully immersing herself into the animal world and embarks on the adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we start? My first thing I want to say is that this film is weird as shit. And I love it for that.
Weird in the best way.
Weird in the best way. Like, I was thinking about it, and I think since we started going to theaters to see Pixar films, this might be my favorite Pixar film I've seen in a theater. Potentially. I'll have to I have to sit on it some more, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, I really enjoyed going to see this movie.
Yeah.
I think there's very little about it that I would have like an issue with. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that I really appreciated is it had a very unique voice.
Yeah.
In a couple different ways. In one, I think one of the like things we've talked about in more recent Pixar films is that they all kind of look the same. Like they all kind of have the same look. They all kind of feel the same in terms of like the animation style, and we've kind of talked about how like a lot of studios are getting really creative with their like 2D 3D animation, their animation styles, like, and I appreciate that because when it kind of started to feel stale, whereas this one I feel like they did a good job of, it's not like extremely different, but it is different enough that I noticed it was different.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're talking about when we say it feels like fresh, it feels like new. We've kind of had this, we've had the same conversation a lot during these discussions about how it feels like Pixar's run out of new ideas. Right. And this one felt maybe not new in the sense that they've done movies like this, like in animated movies, but it felt reimagined in the sense that they were able to incorporate technology, kind of where the world is going in terms of like, we just talked about AI.
Modern, it feels modern.
In terms of like how this world is evolving and where it's going and how technology is such a big aspect of that. So I like that it hits on kind of maybe the dangers of technology. It kind of hits on the obviously dangers of environment and like human impact on the environment. Really funny. Really funny.
I laughed a lot. Hannah and I were laughing quite a bit.
Oh yeah, and I think too, like, I also
I got jump scared.
Oh, I know. Alyssa got jump scared. She scared me.
I scared Hannah because I like physically like recoiled.
A couple moments that like genuinely like I shocked me. Like, it's rare for a kid's
I think Hannah
movie.
Gasped at one point.
I did.
Yeah.
When Meryl Streep, when
got smushed.
She literally got murdered.
She got murdered. One of the lines of this film is, "Sorry, I killed your mom."
Yeah. So I think genuinely like shocked, but in a good way, because I feel like some animated movies are afraid to kind of go that route of like any sort of like death or I mean, or if they do the death, it's implied at the beginning or it's like a cutaway.
We kind of got like body horror stuff. Like light levels of body horror, but that was kind of like towards the end of the movie that kind of got into that like light horror genre in some ways. Yeah. And I really appreciated that, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a lot about the movie, though, that, like, I respected that they were willing to do what they did. Yeah. Like, I agree. Like, a return to Pixar, it felt... It gave me the feelings that a lot of, like, my favorite Pixar movies gave me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say, like...
Very engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like it was paced well. Unlike Elio, which felt very, like, pieced together. And you could tell that it had been through a lot of edits, whatever. This one felt very cohesive. Like, the story made sense. And I like, too, getting a character who's not, like, a child. Like,
yes, that was gonna be one of my comments. Is I think this potentially might be the first, like, adult protagonist we've had since Soul.
Yeah.
I think, because I know Onward, I couldn't remember the age of the characters. I think they're supposed to be teenagers, but I think one is like 15 and the other
I think he's supposed to be like 16, the other one's like maybe like 18, 19.
So kind of similar, but I felt like that felt more like childlike than this did.
Yeah.
Because like you have this character like in college and like like independent, alone. Like she lives by herself. She's like, her parents are not involved in the story. Yeah. So there's that aspect that I think I appreciated. That was like the thing I noticed, because I thought in the beginning of the movie, because we get a flashback of her as a child, like she's an elementary school student, like trying to release the animals. It's like do you remember there's a scene in Hey Arnold where they're like rioting in class, they're trying to like they're gonna go on strike or something. And they're like, Eugene, he's this character with like a bowl cut and glasses. He's like, we should release all the animals from the zoo.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, he's like riding a like giraffe off, like he releases all the animals from the zoo. I'm like, it felt very like that feel.
Yeah.
But I thought that was gonna be our protagonist. I thought it was gonna be a child protagonist. And I was pleasantly like surprised when I was like, oh, we're getting like an adult version of this character. And I really liked that. I thought that worked really well for the way this film was written.
Yeah, and I like, too, getting, like, a flawed main character who like, makes...
mistakes.
Yeah, and, like, and there were certain times during the movie where I'm like, ooh, like, that's a choice.
I like that she had a lot of growth. A lot of these characters had a lot of growth that I really liked. I liked that it wasn't necessarily, there were static characters, but it wasn't necessarily like only one character got growth. It was kind of like a collective of like multiple characters, and I liked that there wasn't necessarily like one villain. It kind of was like an idea of evil, you know, more so than like this is the enemy, and it kind of shifted throughout the film, like who was like the enemy in quotes.
And I think you get to see the ideas of evil, but the ideas of evil of different
perspectives.
Yes, because you get the professor or scientist who's ultimately trying to do something not with bad intentions, but at the same time is doing something that is like could be harmful to these animals.
Yes, unethical maybe is the right phrase.
And then you get the mayor who's like greed and who's driven by his like
I think his mindset is focused on people and like their needs and not necessarily the collective needs.
And like driven too by like his popularity and his like and so you get to see these different characters who like maybe don't have the worst intentions in every aspect and are maybe too focused on one thing to realize the effects of what they're doing.
Right.
But you get to see it from like different points of view, which is I think is cool because I don't think every movie will do that. It focuses on like one evil and kind of just their thing. So I thought that was cool too. I'd like to see the different perspectives, and I like to see the moment of like realization for some of these characters of like, oh, this is actually harmful, or this is like what I'm doing, and this is the effect sort of deal.
Yeah. There's a lot of aspects of this movie that I liked for different reasons.
Great.
One thing I wanted to say is I felt like one thing that was interesting and maybe a little unique about this film is I didn't tear up at all. Like there were like this wasn't like a tearjerker type of movie, but I don't feel like it needed to be, and I feel like it held emotional weight differently than we generally have seen from Pixar. And I kind of appreciated that because I was like, obviously you have the emotional weight of like her grandmother influence in terms of her appreciation of the environment, of nature, of kind of like grounding her as like when she's in moments of outburst of anger and expressiveness, like she thinks of her grandmother and her words, and like that calms her, and I appreciated that. But at the same time, like when what's the King George? Is that the King Beaver's name?
Yeah, I think
George?
that's his name, yes.
Oh my god, there's going into like a specific scene. There's a scene where like Mabel's out of the beaver body. So it's just like a robot husk, and he's like dragging it away, and it's so sad. But it didn't make me teary. But I was like, "Oh, George!" I was like, "No."
Yeah.
You know, like I felt sad in different ways. I guess is maybe the way to phrase that.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you. I think there's not like a moment where it's like. I can think of certain moments. I can think of Inside Out. I can think of Up, where there's certain specific scenes where it's just like meant to get you,
like a gut punch. Yeah,
right. And I do think this one had sort of it had like an underlying sadness of the situation and what was going on. Right. But there's also this sense of like, especially with like the grandma, that's like it's like her driving force and her reason for what she does, why she does. So I think there's like some comfort in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of agree with you. I'm like, I got a little like...
I got emotional, but not like... I didn't really get teary and like felt like weepy.
Yeah, I would agree. And I agree with you too. I don't know that I don't think it was needed because I think the movie hit that perfect balance of like moments of sadness, but also really good humor to like kind of pull you out of it.
Yeah.
And, like, just a good mix of things.
I also, like, so sometimes mixing in, like, modern, like, slang and talk, I'm not super fond of. Like, it feels a little cheesy. But I feel like it worked in this one pretty well. Yeah. Like, there's a part where they're trying to rescue the mayor because the animal kings have decided that they're going to kill all the humans. Specifically, Mayor, what's his name?
Oh, Yeah, why can't I think of his name?
The mayor? I think I wrote down the mayor's name somewhere. Let me see. Mayor,
Jerry.
Jerry. I was like, I know it starts with a J. Yeah, Jerry, where they're trying to rescue him, so she's communicating through his phone, like text-to-speech, and she's like, it's all right, bro. Chill, bro. And I was like, honestly, it kind of works. Again, she's supposed to be, 19, so it made sense to me, in the context, and I wasn't, upset with it, and in some cases it worked for the humor, and, the humor, I thought the balancing of different themes and different, feels kind of worked really well.
It never felt too, trying to hit you in the face with, a certain thing.
And one thing I was wondering if you remembered or any thought about it, but I was trying to figure out if this is, the first Pixar film that had pop music in it. Or, real songs. Because you had, Rebel Girl was in it, and there was another, 80s kind of hit that was Working for the Weekend. Wasn't that the...
Yeah.
That was in the movie. Yeah. And there might have been one other song, I can't remember. But I was like, I don't know if there's any Pixar films that have used non-original songs before.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
And so that stuck out to me when we were watching it, where I was like, whoa, that's interesting. To have... I feel like it worked in this film, but I was like, I don't know if we have any that have done that, to my memory,
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the animation changes.
Yes, with the animals' expression. Yeah.
Right, and when the humans are looking at the animals, they have very small eyes and they look right. And then when it flips to the animal perspective, they have the
very emotive.
The faces, the big eyes. So I thought that was cool to have that shift.
That's something I noted that I was like, I really liked that shift. One, because it's for the audience, but it also is for how people are seeing the animals versus the animals seeing each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. I like that shift. There was a lot of those little things that I noticed that I really appreciated.
Can I get a science minute?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
I would like to interject my own science minute. So I have a degree, I think we talked about it, I have a degree in zoology. A lot of what I did in school, I don't particularly use that degree for mammal studies currently at my real adult life, but a lot of my classes and my study abroad I went on was specifically focused on animal behavior, and that was my concentration. You pick a subset of the degree, and so mine was neurobiology and animal behavior. So I took a lot of psychology classes, I took a lot of behavior specific classes, and so I really appreciated the ideas behind studying especially mammals, but any animal study is, one, it's really fucking hard. It's really hard to study behavior and in that sphere, because again, introducing robot animals, it is hard to infiltrate animal communities, and especially mammal communities, which is why something which you've seen Meerkat Manor, they just basically tagged collared animals and put a bunch of cameras around the colonies so they could study the colony behavior, and it partly was part of that focus, but also it became a show that people watched on Animal Planet. Entertainment value, they created a narrative around these mammals, specifically meerkats. But that's something we did when I was on my study abroad in Kenya. We kind of had our own independent projects where you're we call them game drives, where you're in a safari car, and we had our own individual or group projects where you would be doing something to observe and influence the animal behavior. And so one of the groups, it wasn't my group, but they basically had a wooden, it looked it was a stick and then two legs on each side, and they draped a blanket over it. It was supposed to be representative of an animal, and you just set it out, drive a little bit away, and then observe how different mammals are interacting with it. And so stuff like that, we did, an experiment I did was specifically with warthogs, where we played different sounds. We played, lion calls, we played, jackal calls, and, a jackhammer, and seeing, how vigilant are they? Are they running away? Are they not concerned? So there's a lot of difficulty with studying mammals and animals specifically. So I really liked that it felt realistic. Obviously, to my knowledge, we don't have the technology to be, out here jumping our human minds into robots. That'd be cool if it existed. But I sometimes in media, science and research and scientists are real. I don't like the way they're represented because it does not feel realistic, you know, and I work in a research field, so I'm around a lot of people doing different types of research, but I felt like this one felt pretty realistic to me. Like I was pretty invested in the group of researchers and this professor, and I was like, I've had professors that felt a lot like, you know, her, that I was like, yeah, you know, I'm pretty on board with it. So anyway, I just wanted to interject that I approved of the representation of like kind of like research and looking in on like an ecosystem, and again, trying not to disturb the order of things and trying to just be an observer. Like that's a big part of it, is you're trying to create as little disturbance as possible. You know, sometimes with small mammals you do like trap and catch and release, so you like tag an animal, release them, and then you can re-catch them at a later point to like kind of get a gauge of population. But you're trying to like create as little disturbance as possible. So I kind of appreciated from the science perspective that aspect of this movie. So
yeah, and I like too how they were like the pond rules, like the animals got to eat. Like they were showing animals eating each other, and it's like, yeah, this is the world. This is how it works. This is the animal like kingdom and like the food chain and all that stuff.
Like obviously I'm aware there's no animal kings in that sense, and they've not created a giant like tower, an island of beaver, you know, a beaver island, as you will. That doesn't exist. But again, it's an animated film. We got sharks flying in the air. Right. I'm not here to like be too critical on the like realism of it. Again, it's animated. I want there to be non-realistic.
That's part
things.
of the.
That's part of the why.
That's part of the like the beauty of animated is they can do these crazy.
They can get away with a lot of stuff that you wouldn't necessarily be able to in live action. So yeah.
But yeah, overall, I would say very pleasantly happy with this film.
I had like two other things that I wanted to mention. One, like influences. Obviously, I feel like Pom Poko. I feel like this is very Pom Poko, but not as boring in my opinion.
I would agree.
Pom Poko is really fucking long, but I felt like it shared a lot of the environmental themes. Same like Ferngully, Avatar. Like they're like, this is like Avatar, and she's like, it's nothing like Avatar, and I was like, they're pretty right. I found a quote. Somebody's Letterboxd review said, this is like if Avatar and Over the Hedge had a love child. And I'm like, that feels pretty good. The other thing I wanted to note, and this is kind of getting into the end of the movie. One thing I really liked, and I sat on this for a little bit to try to figure out what exactly I was feeling about it, is I really liked that in the ending, everybody, like all the main groups of characters, like nobody really got exactly what they wanted. Like, it wasn't, like, the ending that everybody wanted for their own individual beliefs. But I liked that, like, things were different, but it was positive. Like, it was a positive outlook, but everybody kind of ended in a different spot than where they started and where they wanted to go. You know? So I really appreciated that ending, that it wasn't all like, oh, we saved the city, like, we put out the fire, everything's good. It was like, everything fucking burned down. You know, they rebuilt the highway, they... you know, made a nature preserve. Like, Mabel can't talk to George anymore, but they can still share that common, like, bond that they have. They can just be together. The professor was like, this is unethical. You gotta fucking, we're shutting down your program. But she's like, now I can do other stuff. Like, I can do other research that I wanted to do. And so I liked that aspect of it. I was like, that's a really nice, like, way to do an ending that I feel like is not necessarily the norm. At least for Pixar.
It's not the perfect wrapped up, like... And I think, too, it speaks to this idea of, like, mutual, like, compromise. Like, how can we, there's even a part at the end of the movie where Mabel and Jerry are talking, and they're like, well, like, let's have a conversation.
Right, let's meet in the middle. Let's find a place where we can mutually agree on something together.
And I think especially, like, where we're at in our society, like, people are so divided. I think that it's kind of speaks to this idea of, like, not everyone's going to get exactly what they want. Not everything's going to be perfect, but like there are ways to find sort of this middle ground that can be like beneficial for both sides. And like people will have to sacrifice certain things. Like you're going to have to sacrifice like whatever this specific thing you want, but there's ways to like find this solution or find some sort of like outcome where it's beneficial for both sides, but people will have to like give up a little bit.
For the greater
good. And so I do. I like that too. I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea to have, like, not a perfect ending, quote unquote.
Are you ready to get into favorites?
Yeah. Favorite character, I went with Mabel.
I did too.
I mean, I think in terms of a character getting a lot of growth, It's like the whole movie, she has this very, like, well-intentioned, like, her actions are, like, well-intentioned.
Yes.
But she also has, like...
She's, like, obsessive to a fault.
Right.
Yeah.
And she has, like, issues with, like, anger and, you know, but I think she, in terms of, like, she's trying to do the right thing, and is, like humans, is flawed and has these things that control her sometimes. But I think she does get a lot of growth throughout the movie, and I think getting to see both her human form and then her as the animal, it's cool to see both sides of her and kind of what she can learn from both of those.
Right.
But yeah, in terms of, like, the character, she felt, like, very, like, thought out, very, like, developed, I guess, or,
I was
like...
gonna say baked. She was a baked character.
Yes, very, like,
they let her cook.
Yeah. But yeah, so...
Yeah, I think a scene where I think that really was shown, and we kind of talked about it, but there's a part where all the animal kings meet, and George is like, let me handle this. And she is interjecting and basically riles them all up to be like, we need to kill all humans. And she's like, wait, what? Like, and ends up killing the monarch queen, the insect queen, accidentally, but, like...
Right.
Like, she caused a huge problem, and then the insects took over, and, you know, I love, well, one Hannah was like, is that Dave Franco playing a caterpillar, the new caterpillar insect king who takes over Jerry's, like, a robot Jerry.
Like Titus,
yeah. I enjoyed that character a lot. I was really engaged by that, like, that part of the villain cycle, like, that version of the villain. But I think that, like, that really was the shift that it was like, she kind of was like, oh, I did something wrong. Like, I'm in the wrong here. So I thought that was a good, like, that was the kind of the moment that was kind of, like, eye-opening for her to be like, oh.
Right.
Oops. Oopsie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think she was a really well-done character. I didn't have a favorite line, necessarily.
I didn't either. There were a lot of, like, moments that made me laugh. Like, there was a part where, like, this is nothing like Avatar, or, like, stuff like that.
Into this. Into that.
Yeah. And I think, too, it's one of those movies where a good thing to have. I've had a hard time, like, picking, like, a favorite scene, because I feel like there were so many, like...
Yeah.
Like, in terms of, like, comedic, I really like the scene where they were driving, like, in Jerry's car.
And trying to communicate with him,
And he's, like... You get to see his perspective of just, like, these animals, like, just, like, going crazy, and then, like, them trying to be like, no, like, we're trying to tell him this.
Yeah.
I also, like, heartfelt. I liked the kind of her sitting on the rock, like, with her grandma, and then, like, kind of going back to those moments of, like, what her grandma would tell her.
Right.
I liked those, and, like, I liked the ending of the movie, like, with the different, like, showing where everyone was. So I had a hard time picking, which is never an issue.
Yeah.
But
I did too. There's a lot of the scenes you said I liked. This is more so like a shift in the movie than necessarily like a specific scene, but I really enjoyed once they captured Jerry and Mabel's out of the beaver body, and we start this kind of like shift into like the climax of the movie where Titus has taken over the robot Jerry. The humans are tied up. They're trying to figure it out. Like, I really liked that shift, and I was like, oh, I'm really invested. Where I was like, oh, I'm really invested in the ending now. Like, this is a nice shift that I'm like excited for. Yeah. So I think that was probably the best scene for me, just as like a movie shift into like the Act 3 kind of part of the film. Right.
Yeah, like music moment. I also, again, I feel like I had a hard time because there was a couple different scenes that like stuck out to me, and I still don't know what my favorite music moment was.
I feel like in my mind, when the like fire's going, I feel like that score was really well done. Yeah, like when this fire picks up. And I don't exactly remember why I feel that. Like, I think
it was one of those Pixar moments of like showing, not telling.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's the climax of leading up to this moment of like the damage of.
Right. The destruction of nature, but rebirth. Right. Like, we can rebuild. We can.
But also the potential destruction of then the human
city
world as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think the score that was playing when, like, she was flashing back, like I said, those scenes with her grandma, like, I like those moments. So, yeah, again, similar to his favorite scene, like, moments to pick from, which is, you know, never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then Hannah and I vaguely talked about this before we started recording, but Hannah and I both, in terms of ranking, had kind of a section we would put it in, but are going to make a final determination right now about a specific number. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess you can go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when I looked at my list, I was looking for a specific movie because I was like, this to me feels kind of like this movie. And then I looked and I'm like, oh, there are 3 movies I have right back to back to back that I feel like is the range that I'd like to put this movie in. For me, the numbers were my movies 9 through 11. So that would be Incredibles 2, Inside Out 2, and Turning Red. And I was like, what do they all have in common? Female protagonists. What a shock. Yeah. But I was like, those movies all kind of feel the same to me in terms of like how I felt about the movie.
Yeah.
I kind of think I'm going to put it at 10. So it'd go in between Incredibles 2 and Inside Out 2. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% confident, like, that is the number, but for right now, that grouping between 9 and 11, which I guess would now be 9 and 12, it felt like the right spot where I'm like, these kind of movies all kind of feel the same to me. But I really enjoyed the movie. It's not like a top, top 5 favorite, but like close to top 10. Like, I really enjoyed it. I was really happy with the way this film came out.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say Inside Out 2 and Incredibles 2. That's kind of where I was also at. And it reminded me a lot of how I felt when I watched Soul.
Yeah. Soul is the movie right above that. So Soul is my number 8. So that's kind of, same kind of range.
And so I'm kind of in the same range. I have Soul at 8, Turning Red at 9. I think right now I would probably put it right below Soul.
Okay. So it would be 9.
So it'd be number 9.
Okay.
Turning Red would be 10. Soul would be 8. I have Incredibles 2 above that and Inside Out 2. But it's hard. I mean, I would say it's pretty close to that, like, 7 to 10 range for me.
Yeah, so we kind of seem similar, like, feeling about, like, the film.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, like, a very solid film.
Yeah.
Definitely a nice return for Pixar to me in terms of, like, a movie that's made me feel that way since Soul. So,
I kind of feel like, and this might just be because this person was at Pixar but left and has returned, so it feels like a fresh voice. Yeah. In a way. And I really appreciate that because I feel like, look, I like franchises, like, obviously we enjoyed Inside Out 2 and we enjoyed Incredibles 2, but, like, our next Pixar film is Toy Story 5. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm interested in the premise being, like, kids are iPad kids now and they don't play toys. I'm like, that's relevant, but I'm like, do we really need a Toy Story fucking 5?
No, the answer's no.
The answer's no. I'm not super thrilled with all the proposed sequels. And I understand they do it because it makes money. I get it. But I'm like, sometimes I just want, like, a fresh new idea like this.
Yeah,
this is really nice.
I think maybe leaving Pixar was, like, the best thing. Yeah. Because getting out of going to a different network with, like, different ideas, different perspectives, I think probably then coming back gives you, like, these new things to pull from. Sometimes you have to, like, leave a place and then, like, go on your own to find, like, to make something better, sort of thing. Yeah. So I agree with you with that. But yeah, I know I'm Toy Story 5. I'm kind of like, man, whatever. Yeah.
I have a proposition for you.
Okay.
So as I was thinking about my list and I was thinking about where to place it, I think part of the reason I had a really hard time is that I genuinely don't really remember how I feel about some of these movies that we've only seen once.
Yeah.
So I had a proposition, if we wanted to, potentially, collectively, we could rewatch our 2020 to 2026. I might throw Incredibles 2. I think that might have been a 2019 film in there because I've only seen those movies once. Yeah. And I'm like, it might be nice to do a rewatch of the films I've only seen once to see if that changes any of my rankings. Yeah. Because I was like, all those movies in that chunk that I compared it to, I've only seen once. Like, I've seen one time, and that was,
I feel similar. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was wondering, because I think Toy Story 5 comes out in the fall, like, maybe November?
It's summer.
Is it? Oh, it's summer? Oh, damn. Yeah. That's quick.
It comes out.
I just figured it'd be a holiday release, because...
No, it's June 19th.
Damn. They really are putting them right back to back. Okay. Yep. Well, maybe either... But I mean, I don't know if we'd get it to work before Toy Story 5, but potentially maybe then the break between Toy Story 5 and whatever comes next, we could just go through, like, I don't know, we get Disney Plus for a month, watch through the movies. We could update about how we thought, maybe just some brief updates about if we felt differently, if we changed the ranking. Just because I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've only seen it once, and some of them were like Soul we watched in 2020. That's 6 years ago, and like,
yeah, it was a long time ago.
Turning Red was 2021, and so there's maybe 2022, but there's some of these movies I just like genuinely can't really remember.
Yeah,
how I really feel about it compared to like, obviously, there's movies like original Toy Story, Ratatouille we've seen multiple times, so obviously I know how I feel about those films. I have very strong opinions. So yeah. But anyway, that's just a thought I had that might be interesting to do. Yeah. To kind of refresh our 2020, the 20s decade of Pixar, to see if anything changes. Cool.
All right. Well, we'll be back with Toy Story 5
soon. At some point. Sooner than later. Soonish. I actually am surprised they did them 6 months, like 3 months apart, Yeah. That seems like a quick turnaround.
Yeah. But we have our Gmail, r3podcast@gmail.com. We have our Instagram. We have our Letterboxd account.
Yep. I will update that when this episode comes out. So we have our Pixar lists are on our Letterboxd. So if you wanted to see how we ranked our films collectively, since we don't update that in the episode, you can take a look there. And it's up to date with Elio. So once this episode's out, I'll add Hoppers to the list.
Yeah. So you can find us there. And then we'll be back with Toy Story 5 soon.
Or something else in the meantime. I don't know. We'll see when episodes come out. It's hard to keep track of when our episodes are coming out when. All right. Bye.
We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R, the number 3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat.
This is for work, Hannah.
Work. It's serious business.
Mm-hmm. It's super serious.